Brain injuries, part 2. Here we go. Right. Here's a question for all you full contact fighters, yeah? And this is, I'm not talking about professionals here or people that have already made the transition that are old enough to know the risks. I'm not actually even talking about amateur boxers, because there's so much regulation around amateur boxing. It's very, very different. It's very, very, you've got to be able to pass a medical. There's clear urine tests. There's a high level of insurance, a high lot of monitoring in most good boxing clubs. But I'm talking about the sort of ones that, where you go in there, and these exist even around Norwich, I know that they do, and people will do sparring near enough every session, and you'll have a semi-pro or a pro fighter knocking 9 bells out of amateur fighters who maybe is not as prepared for them. They're knocking them all over the place. Neither of them got headgear on, and they've got a nice concrete floor, hardwood floor as a reward if they do get KO'd and their head will bounce off it. Right? Now, I can tell you now, no club has got insurance for full contact regular sparring. I think boxing clubs and the ABA has that, but I'm telling you now, most clubs ain't. There might be a way around it for certain ones which I don't know about, but most ain't. Most of the while they're only going to get semi-contact. Certainly there would be no club that would ever run, say, a kickboxing class where they didn't have mats, headgear on for full contact sparring. I don't know where they would exist in club level. I'm not talking about competitive ring fighting or what boxing would call, like in amateur boxing, what you call sparring, because it's different in amateur boxing, where that is a real fight, though it's sparring, but it's so closely measured and controlled. You only have 2 people fighting at the same time. You won't have an entire class with 20 or 30 people and all fighting each other at the same time, all in different, well, maybe not 20 or 30, they're probably quite small at the moment, but like, 10 or 16 people all fighting each other all around the class, all different levels. You wouldn't be knocking 9 bells out of it. Now, to me, the idea of a semi-pro fighter knocking around an amateur fighter, or even a highly experienced amateur fighter knocking 9 bells out of a fighter who's not necessarily as skilled, as knowledgeable, well, we all know that's bullying. We all know it. It'd be like me doing sparring with like some child and just knocking them about, or some 14-year-old and knocking them about badly, and then feeling good about myself. I'd be an idiot. I mean, chances are 14-year-old probably slap me at the moment. I'd die trying. But no, I'm only joking. But it's like you've got that situation where you have to consider that is bullying. There's no 2 ways about it. It's like, it's an unfair mismatch. And it's like, they shouldn't be knocking it. I mean, by all means, you can do hard to the body and touch to the head. Hard to the thighs, hard to the body, punch to the shoulder hard. But if they're not at the same level, then that is just a total mismatch. Now, in amateur boxing, they do try and level it off. Now, this is not always the case, and hasn't always been the case. All right, and a lot of but regulation is, I think, when it comes to this, it's going to have to be seriously looked at. We're only just starting to understand the effects of brain damage. We're only just starting to. And because often the symptoms are long term, if every time someone did full contact fighting, they had a CAT scan, or is it scat scan before and then after, and they could see the damage that the fight had done, they wouldn't be so quick to do it. And that's not including all the little bangs of the head on the cupboard door that you didn't when you mistime something, or when you're building something in the loft, you crack your head on the loft hatchway, or stuff like that throughout the course of your lifetime as well, adding up to it as well. And it's about what kind of quality of life you want when you're older. And most people are not thinking like that. They can't see past next week. Certainly people are, but then there's the other side of it, is, I really enjoy it. Yeah, I get that too, but it's not like, it can still be good. It's why I like grappling so much. You can really have a physical fight with grappling and not actually hurt one another, even though none of us can do it at the moment because we're in the middle of a pandemic. But yeah, it's just something for people to think about, I suppose. Maybe I'm wrong in everything I'm saying, because at the end of the day, I don't know nothing. I'm just talking about my own experience of having traumatic injuries and just seeing the evidence and thinking there seems to be a bit of a pattern there that people need to pay attention to. But we shall see. Most people enjoy a good dent in the head, don't they? Yeah. Take care of yourself, everyone. Don't get your head traumatized.